Retirement. For most of our lives, we think of it as a single moment, a date on the calendar, a finish line we work toward. But what I've come to understand through my own journey and through listening to others is this: retirement isn't a moment, it's a series of phases, and each one asks something different from us. Some bring joy, some bring uncertainty, and some no one talks about at all. Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy Paessun, the host of the podcast Reinventing Retirement. Today, I want to walk you through what those phases actually look like. So if you're in one of them, you'll recognize it and maybe feel a little less alone. The first phase begins before you ever retire. It's what we might call the anticipation phase. This is where retirement lives in your imagination. You picture freedom, you picture rest, you picture finally having time for all the things you've put off. And there's excitement here, but often there's something else too. A quiet question: who am I going to be when I'm no longer what I do? Because whether we realize it or not, our work has given us more than a paycheck. It's given us structure, purpose, and identity. And as retirement approaches, we begin to feel the pull of freedom and the loss of something familiar. Then comes the phase most people look forward to, the honeymoon phase. This is the beginning of retirement, and for many, it feels exactly like what they hoped it would be. You wake up without an alarm, you do what you want when you want, you travel, reconnect with hobbies, you say yes to things you never had time for before. It feels like a reward, and it is. But here's what's important to understand. This phase is temporary, not because anything is wrong, but because eventually, even freedom needs structure. Which brings us to the phase almost no one prepares you for, the disenchantment phase. This is where the shine begins to wear off. The trips are over, the projects are done, and suddenly the days feel long. You may find yourself asking, is this it? There can be a sense of restlessness, a loss of direction, even loneliness. But this can be surprising, especially if you spent years looking forward to retirement. But nothing has gone wrong. You're not doing retirement incorrectly. You're simply in a phase that many people experience, but few people talk about. After that comes a turning point, the reorientation phase. This is where something shifts. Instead of expecting retirement to just feel fulfilling, you begin to realize that you have to create that fulfillment. This is where you start asking new questions. What actually matters to me now? How do I want to spend my time? What gives my life meaning today, not 20 years ago? And this phase often involves experimentation, trying new things, letting go of others, redefining who you are on your own terms. This is where retirement becomes something more than an ending. It becomes a reinvention. From there, many people move into what we might call the stability phase. This is where life begins to feel settled again, not in the same way as it did before, but in a new, more intentional way. There's a rhythm to your days, a clearer sense of who you are, and often a deeper appreciation for the simple things: a good conversation, a meaningful activity, a day that just feels right. This phase isn't about constant excitement, it's about alignment. And then, as we move further into this chapter of life, there's one more phase to acknowledge, a phase of reflection and transition. This is where the questions become quieter, but deeper. What has my life meant? What do I want to leave behind? What matters most now? This phase often brings a stronger focus on relationships, on connection, on legacy, not in a grand sense, but in the small ways that we impact the people around us. Now, here's the important thing I want you to take away from all of this. These phases are not rigid. You may move back and forth between them. You may experience them differently from someone else. And there is no right way to go through retirement. But understanding that these phases exist can be incredibly powerful because it allows you to recognize where you are without judgment. To know that if you're feeling restless or uncertain or even a little lost, you're not alone. You're in the middle of becoming something new. Retirement is not the end of your story. It's a transition into a different kind of life, one where you have the opportunity, perhaps for the first time in a long time, to choose with intention how you spend your days, who you spend them with, and what truly matters. So, wherever you are on this journey, whether you're just beginning to think about retirement or you've been in it for years, take a moment to ask yourself, what phase am I in right now? And maybe more importantly, what is this phase asking of me? Because each phase has something different to offer, even the hardest ones, especially the hardest ones. And when you begin to see retirement in this way, not as a single moment, but as a series of transitions, it becomes less about figuring it all out and more about continuing to grow into the life that's in front of you. And that is what reinventing retirement is all about.